The Testament of a Sister New Devil. Now, this is a show I have a lot of history with. The very first video on this channel is me talking about how much I don't like it, but ever since then, I've had this nagging feeling like there was still a lot more I have to say about the show. So last week, when I found the original script for that video while looking through my Google Drive and reading the absolute hot mess that it was, I just knew I had to remake it. As of right now, I have seen The Testament of a Sister New Devil 5 times, so I'm pretty confident when I say that it's not a good show. But without further ado, here is why I don't like The Testament of a Sister New Devil. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I make bi-weekly videos where I talk about anime, movies, or games, basically just anything I'm feeling at the time, and subscribing just really helps with my motivation in general. But with that, let's get back to the video. Developed by Production IMS, mid-2015, The Testament of a Sister New Devil is a perfect example of the type of show I think of when I say bad anime. The lazy story, the boring characters, and the excessive amount of fan service, it's all here. My first memory of watching this show was 5 years ago, when I was 14, and even then I could just tell that there was something really bad about it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just knew it at the time. But now, after rewatching it, there are multiple things I want to talk about. So many in fact that I don't even know where to start. So we're going to start with the most obvious thing possible first, and that is the plot. Skip to this part in the video if you don't want to be spoiled. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that the plot for The Testament of a New Sister Devil isn't very good, but I don't think it would be fair to call it bad either. The Testament of a New Sister Devil has what I like to call a non-plot. It's the very definition of cookie cutter and basic. It really has nothing to it, and nothing really stands out. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. The plot feels like it's been pushed aside, and isn't really the main focus of the show, which I'll talk about later. The plot focuses around Bossura Tojo. He is your average anime character, and his dad is about to get remarried. Because of this, Bossura gets two new sisters, Maria and Mio, and like the average anime daddy is, the instant this happens, Bossura's dad takes a business trip and goes overseas, but all isn't as it appears to be. The instant Bossura's dad leaves, Maria and Mio reveal themselves to be demons, who tricked Bossura's father in order to take over his house, but Bossura has a secret of his own. It turns out that Bossura is an ex-member of the Hero clan, and 5 years ago he was exiled for being an edgy anime boy and going berserk, so Bossura confronts them and kicks them out of his house. He then rings his father, where his father tells him that he really wasn't being tricked, and that Mio is the daughter of the recently deceased demon lord, and that members of the Hero clan and the demon clan are after her, and that he wants Bossura to protect her. I found this to be particularly stupid, because why wouldn't he just tell Bossura from the very start? There is no reason why he couldn't just tell him this. Bossura seems pretty eager to protect her after he learns of this, so it's obvious that Bossura wouldn't refuse, so it just makes no sense as to why he wouldn't, but because anime, I guess. After this, the plot focuses around Bossura protecting Mio from members of the Hero and Demon clan, and there really isn't anything too noteworthy to talk about.
Hey, you! You're finally awake.
Remember when I said the plot really didn't feel like the main focus of the show? Well, that's because the fan service is. The Testament of a New Sister Devil is about as close as you can get to hentai without it being actual hentai. The show has an egregious amount of fan service, and personally, I don't like fan service. Alright, now hear me out. In most anime, fan service serves absolutely no purpose at all, other than to capitalize on the Kuma audience, and The Testament of a New Sister Devil is the perfect example of this. Everything about the show is written and designed around the fan service, and there is no better example that I can give than the female characters. Female characters in this show only exist for the fan service. There is no depth or greater meaning into their characters. Their sole purpose is to be eye candy and to fulfill a specific fetish for the audience. You've got the sister, you've got the lolly, you've got the MILF. They're all the same. Their entire character only exists to show off their bodies, and their personality is completely based around how much they love the main character, which makes it almost impossible to care about anything that ever happens to them. The other characters in this show aren't great either. Bossura's entire personality and motive for doing things is just that he's a good dude. The show tries so hard to make him a likable character, but never succeeds. Just doing something because he's a good person isn't really a reason for me to care, and it's hard to get invested into anything if I don't care about what happens. In this show, Bossura is always the good guy. He's always doing the right thing and never in the wrong. There is no morally grey areas, no room for interpretation. Bossura is right because he's Bossura, and that's just boring. This heavily affects the way the villains are written in this show too. Either the villains are doing the wrong thing but think they're in the right, and Bossura convinces them that he's actually in the right and they join his team, or the show paints these other villains off to be the most hideous, ugly, and most despicable evil characters you can ever think of, for no reason other than evil just for evil's sake, just to make Bossura look even better. After looking at Mal and going through the reviews, the show's rating has gone down a considerable amount since I last checked. As of right now, it's sitting with a 6.7 on my anime list, and it only seems to be getting lower. There are a lot of people who really don't like this show, but a huge chunk do, and I don't blame them for that. This show is made for a very specific audience, and these types of people are that audience. They understand why they're watching the show. They're not watching it for deeper meaning or well fleshed out characters. They're watching it for the fan service, and I can respect that honesty. But for me, someone who really doesn't care about fan service, there is really nothing that I can get out of watching this show. This type of show just isn't a show that's made for me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. The Testament of a Sister New Devil is an absolute train wreck of a show, but I am somewhat grateful to it. It inspired me to make this channel, and it's the first video I ever made. Hopefully this is the last video I ever make about it. There are more seasons of the show, but looking at them, they seem almost identical to the first season. So talking about them would just be me rehashing the same points from this video. But right now, I'm going to rate The Testament of a New Sister Devil a 2 out of 10. Alright, now that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to tune into my next video where I'll be talking about Crunchyroll's exam. But other than that, leave a like if you like this video, dislike it if you don't, and I am out.